Frameline, friends and family, give it up one more time for Fire Island. So we do have a Q&A coming up shortly. One quick announcement from our lead sponsor of the evening, Hilton San Francisco Union Square. Some of you might have participated in a business card drop-in contest as you entered the theater tonight. Just so you know, that was for an entry to win a $100 gift card to the Hilton SF Union Square's Cityscape Lounge at the top floor of that wonderful hotel. The winner will be announced and notified via email. So check your Grindr, check your email, and then you'll be notified. So thank you so much. So, without further ado, please join me in giving a warm Frameline welcome to the talent of Fire Island. First up, director Andrew On. Next up, the inimitable writer, cast member, and executive producer, Joel Kim Booster. And who can forget, actor, comedian, Matt Rogers. Oh, thank you all so much for being here. And just right up top, if I may please just say and acknowledge all of your roles in pulling together not just a queer rom-com, but as Jolie mentioned earlier, a queer Asian rom-com. So selfishly, thank you. And I'm also sure that many others in our audience would like to say thank you as well. So thank you. Okay, so let's get right to it. First question to director Andrew On. You're exceptionally well known for your previous features, Spa Night and Driveways, both of which received great acclaim. Thank you. What was it about the Fire Island queer Asian rom-com that drew you to want to direct it? Perhaps as a departure from your existing body of work. Stated differently, what fiery itch did this film scratch for you?
Sounds like an STD. For me, in my career, haven't had the opportunity to explore queer Asian American friendship. In Spa Night, it was very much a kind of solitary coming of age, for this character David, and in Driveways, it was very much about a family, I really loved that Joel's script focused on the friendship between two queer Asian Americans, and even though it was a really different genre than I'm used to, there was so much heart and substance to this that, for me, it was really meaningful to work on this, and I just had to learn how to be funny, But I was really lucky that I got to work with such amazing comedians. I always say, if I made this cast not funny, I would be a terrible director, And so the comedy didn't necessarily scare me, and I knew where my strengths were, and I knew what I could bring to this, and it was especially meaningful, kind of coming after a year of not getting to see my friends because of the pandemic. I wanted to make something to honor this group of gay Asian American friends that I had in Los Angeles, that are such a big part of my life.
Thank you for that so much. Joel, it is a truth universally acknowledged that you totally wrote Fire Island and also starred in the film. I think it's safe to say that many in the audience tonight, myself included, see some real truth in your storytelling, especially being that San Francisco and the Bay Area are home to many people of the intersectional queer Asian experience. As you were writing Fire Island, how did you strike your balance between comedy and authenticity, all the while honoring yourself and your audiences?
I think for me, the big focus while I was writing, and it was the first time I had ever written this way, it was really focusing on telling an undiluted personal story. So much of this movie is ripped from the headlines of my friendship with Bowen. So much of what happens in the movie, so many of the conversations that are had in the movie are things that Bowen and I have talked about, or things that have happened to Bowen and I. And it was the first time as a writer that I was really not concerned with writing something that would sell. And that I thought the industry wanted. Because if I did that, a gay Asian love story was definitely not going to be the thing that I thought would sell. And so for me, it was just putting as much of myself into it as possible. I think I am, a funny person, but I'm also corny as fuck. So I think like it was just a lot about injecting it with that sort of authenticity of myself and not being concerned with what I thought the industry writ large wanted.
Wonderful, thank you. Corny and horny, I think.
Yeah.
Corny and horny, that's me. Matt Rogers.
Hey!
Hi. As we've seen, the film's core group is essentially all queer people of color, except for you. And you seem to be the white one, even on this stage. How's it feel? I'm just kidding, no, that's not the question. This essentially, though, makes you an ally, if not an active accomplice, to the queer POC experience. How did this manifest for you during the Fire Island process, and even maybe in your other work, like with fellow castmate Bowen Yang?
It's an interesting question. When I watch the movie, I see something that is so truthful to me, which is just so much love in a chosen family. And so I guess and we've said the words chosen family so many times talking about this, which is why he laughs, but that is genuinely what it is. And it's almost like, it almost sucks that you say it so much that it feels like it loses its meaning, but that's really what that is. That's when I watch the movie, I feel that's what's represented. And so for me, when I think about the people that I love, like, of course I have like a deep understanding and a deep respect for what that experience is, but I just try to come at it with the love that I have for Bowen, for Joel, the love that I developed for Tomas during this film, for Torian, for Margaret, who I've loved for decades. And I just try to follow the truth of that love and the truth of the safety in that friendship. And that's what I think about when I'm shooting the movie and when I live every day of my life. And I am so lucky to have Joel and Bowen as my best friends, and Andrew as a part of my family now. And I'm so proud to be a part of this for reasons that are innumerable.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, it's all about love, y'all. So Andrew, let's build on what Matt and Joel just shared about love, truth, authenticity, and also representation. And also let's tie it into this broader moment that we're all in, where the greater audience landscape seems not only more comfortable, but also hungrier for these sorts of interrogations of identity. As a filmmaker, what are you seeing industrially? Why is this the good moment for this film and for films like it?
I have spent time in indie film land for a number of years, and came of age in the film festival circuit. Frameline screened one of my short films. It screened my first feature, Spa Night. It rejected my first short film, actually.
Sorry.
It's okay. And actually, I received a physical letter. It was that far, long ago that I mailed the DVD and then I got a physical letter back. And actually, it was kind of dramatic too, because my dad received the letter and opened it, and I wasn't out to him yet, and he was like, "Oh, you're applying to gay film festivals." Anyway,
Thanks, Frameline. Thanks again for having us. Taking such good care.
But I think it's this thing where, I've seen, queer Asian American stories in the past. The Wedding Banquet, Saving Face. Just a few years before Spa Night was Ray Young's film front cover. There are queer Asian American rom-coms that exist. and it's just that they haven't necessarily gotten the platform that we have, you know? And so I think in terms of an audience and in terms of creators, like we're out there, and it's just that the industry has taken its time to catch up to us, you know, and to believe in these stories. I think it's, you know, really special that we're getting this platform, and I hope that, you know, filmmakers, storytellers can, you know, be inspired by us and, you know, use us as an example of like a film that has succeeded that can like help their story get made. You know, I see Fire Island as a part of a continuum, you know, and so, you know, I think it's kind of wrong to say like we're the first of anything, you know, it's just that we have this opportunity. So yeah, I really see, you know, the industry as like, you know, becoming aware of this, and you know, I think it's really telling that our executives at Searchlight, you know, 2 of them are Asian American women and 1 of them is a gay Latinx man, and so, you know, the representation has to be seen kind of in all aspects of the industry.
Well said. Thank you, Andrew. Hey Joel, let's stay on this idea of representation a little bit longer. We're gonna dig a little deep, girl. Get ready. So it seems no accident that Fire Island's core characters are majority queer people of color. And so it's through this lens that you and the audience even explore these themes of gentrification and toxic prejudices within the queer community. Can you speak more to this and how it informs your work on the film?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about it sort of being ripped from the headlines of my life. You know, it's tough because Fire Island is one of my favorite places to go. I think it's visually arresting, it's beautiful, it's wonderful to be in a place without straight people for just a week. We don't realize the weight we carry around when we are navigating straight society until it's lifted off of us at a place like Fire Island. But unfortunately, I think there's also toxic elements to places like that as well, and navigating those spaces can be really troubling for a person of color, and the ways in which, you know, different identities and different aspects of our lives intersect as well. It can be difficult, and I think I wanted to sort of not shy away from that. I think oftentimes in gay stories we are seen as just gay, you know, and the intersections of different identities are ignored at that point. And so it was really important to me to not only tell a gay story, but tell a story that felt personal to me, that as a gay Asian man who has experienced, you know, racism in the gay community and discrimination in the gay community, and, you know, also tell my friend Bowen's story. You know, like, I think that conversation in the bathroom that we have at the party was a really important scene for me, because I didn't want to tell a story about discrimination and, you know, body fascism and let myself off the hook, you know. I think I've done, I have sort of succumbed in a lot of ways to sort of transform myself into this ideal and to be more visible, and it hasn't worked. It doesn't work, it doesn't actually work, and so I wanted to sort of flesh out as many of those ideas as possible in the film.
And I think you did, by the way. Thank you. And obviously just from personal experience, like the things about just like being invisibilized as well, and while trying to conform, like, you hit this one right in the head. Matt, so we made a little bit of a quip earlier on the stage just about like you not kind of looking like the rest of us. No fault of your own, you were born this way, we love you anyway. But even still, as a queer person of, you know, the majority white experience, you're open about your experience with this idea of code switching, which is a theme that comes up explicitly in Fire Island. Can you speak to this a bit and how it relates to your role as Luke in tonight's film, as well as maybe any other work that you do?
Well, yes, I think it's all queer people understand what it means to have to code switch, which is to basically appear to someone as someone acceptable in their brain at all times, just to navigate any given space. I mean, for me, it's happened professionally. Often I feel like if I'm super effeminate, this really happened more when I was a little bit younger, now I'm feeling more secure, but I remember, working at restaurants and not wanting to approach a table and clear a plate, like, can I take that for you? You know what I mean? I was from Long Island, so it's I can hear my little cousins do it too. They deepen their voice. It's just this idea of having to try to fit in with what is popular, with what is acceptable. And so I think, honestly, when it relates to Fire Island, when I was feeling less comfortable in my skin pretty much every single day of my 20s, and it became a viable thing where we could go to the Pines, which was, yes, a haven for queer people, but also an environment that exacerbates, I think, every single personal insecurity that you could have. You're running through your mind and going through the Rolodex in your brain of different people you can be and what you may need to appear as in order to fit in order to be attractive, in order to have sex, which is, as you can kind of see in this film for Noah, like sort of like a checkpoint. You know what I mean? For so many people, they think, well, if I didn't get flirted with at that party or get invited home with someone at that party, it was a failure, which is a misunderstanding of, I think, what a healthy experience should be there. And so yes, like, I do think you see it very clearly in the film, particularly in my character Luke. I think, with his friends, he's a little bit more dropped in and casual and bitchy, and when you see him appear in front of people that he wants to impress, he's bubbly, you know what I mean? Like, he'll do anything to, like, get Dex's attention. You see him sort of marking himself with his name in sunscreen at one point. Like, he's already ready to make this person his owner. Like, he's ready to be the property of this person because he feels like he operates in a different echelon in the gay community. And I think that the film does a really great job of showing that we are not always comfortable in ourselves when we enter a social hierarchy, which is what the Pines is. And I think what we can take away from the film is that we need to, like, decolonize in our minds about what that experience is and understand that it's a place for you as well as them, whoever they are. You know what I mean? Like, it's a place to go to with your chosen family, yes, or your group of friends that you're most comfortable with, and be you and have your experience. So I hope that the movie puts that idea in people's minds, and that's what they can move forward with.
What do you think, audience? Did it happen?
Not bad. We've only been doing it for a month.
So I'm being told that we are approaching time. However, before y'all leave, I do have one final question for each of you. We're gonna do this rapid fire, all right? So listen, in 3 words or fewer, describe this ride that you've been on since the premiere of Fire Island this month. Okay, we'll go Matt, then Joel, then Andrew, all right?
Okay.
Matt, you're up.
Special, slutty, and soulful.
Insane, anxiety, and horny.
Magical, sleep deprived.
I especially love that question because you've essentially described all of my previous relationships. So, Frameline Friends and Family, one more round of applause for Andrew Ahn, Dolphin Booster, and Matt Rogers of Fire Island. Thank you. So thank you all for joining us for Frameline46. I'm told the talent will be proceeding outside in case you all want to have conversations, check in with them. We also must vacate the theater, so please make your way outside. Thank you again. Stay healthy, stay safe. We love you, and happy Pride.